Alright. Well, welcome back to the Walk podcast with Kayla. I'm your host, Kayla, and presented by OddSmokerMMA. I have the pleasure of having Dakota Bush on with me. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Okay. Sorry about that. Well, thank you so much for joining me. It's an honor and pleasure to have you on.
Well, thank you. It's always fun to get to mix it up with someone different and get to talk about the things we love. So I'm excited.
Like turkey hunting. No?
Right?
Before we get into that, I do want to do a little talk on your first round in the UFC. As you know, you did get cut. However, you are trying to get back into the UFC, and you have made some major changes this time around on your training and whatnot. So I think me and all the other viewers would love to hear about that as well.
Yeah. My first run in the UFC was 2021. I got signed in April of 21. Um, it was on like 5 days' notice against a guy named Austin Hubbard. Um, took him to the scorecards. I won the first round on all three scorecards, and then didn't have the tank to really compete, on such short notice. So he ended up winning a 29-28 decision. Um, fast forward a couple months, I was supposed to fight a guy in September named Rong Zhu. He was Chinese guy. He recently just got re-signed to the UFC. But that fell through. Fight week, I showed up and test positive for COVID, and that fight got scrapped, which was a super good matchup at the time, and it was super frustrating. So ended up getting rebooked for January against a guy named Slava Borishev, and was was beating him everywhere the fight went, striking, grappling, just everywhere. Was all around better fighter than the guy, and I truly believe that. Um, Ended up catching me with a left hook to the body and finished the fight, and that was the first time I've ever been finished as out of my whole amateur career, pro career. That was the first and only time I've been finished. So it happens. That's the fight game. It sucks, but um, not every time the better fighter wins. Sometimes it's the underdog's night or someone who's not as skilled in areas. That's why we play this game. That's why everyone loves it. But after that, about 2 to 3 weeks later, I got the call that I was cut from the UFC, and that was hard. That was a hard pill to swallow. Um, you want to give up? Kind of thought maybe am I done or where do I go from here? And since then, I just put my head down. I'm on a 6-fight win streak, and had a couple short notice opportunities come up. Just nothing really, not all everything aligned. So we're right there, knocking on the door, getting back in, and like you said, I'm so much more ready and well rounded this time out.
Let's talk about how you ready for it. I know we previously talked about you moving and stuff, getting to a new gym and all that. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that and how training at this new gym has bettered you and better prepared you for making that return to the UFC?
Yeah, down at American Top Team, I've had 4 fights with them now. Um, all 4 great performances with them. 4-0 out of the gym now. There's nothing like it, especially at our weight class at 155. You got 5 guys that are ranked in the top 15. You got Dustin Poirier, you got Mateusz Gamrot, um, Renato Moicano, Grant Dawson, Armin Sarukian, Chris Duncan, Thiago Moises. The list goes on and on. Like, there's so many guys here that are at the apex of the sport that are super high level, and it's so hard not to grow in this room if you're showing up and you're putting yourself in those deep rounds every time, asking, you know, being like a gnat. Like, I'm just always trying to pick at these guys. Like, hey, let me get around, and I've grown so much. And not only that, the coaches here are so like everyone says like, oh, you don't want to go to a big gym if you're not like a superstar. They won't give you any time, or you'll get lost in the shuffle, and that's definitely not the case here. I get one-on-ones every single week with Mike Brown and Tiago Alves. Um, they're such great coaches, and supplement so many things to the game that help you grow. Just like you've seen in Chris's fight with that the drop he had, the knockdown against Vucenic. It was a kick punch. Chris threw a kick, and as the kick was coming back, he threw the right hand and dropped him. And seen him and Thiago working on that so much, the weeks prior to that. Um, and I believe Mike Brown is his knowledge and his fight IQ for the game and always evolving. He's the best in the game right now. There's no one even touching him. So you get that mix of all that and the mindset and the drive that I got to be in the room every day. It's going to be so different. Like I said, I'm going to be the next guy that's knocking on the top 15 once I get signed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you saying about some great players that you playing with. You just train. I follow all you and everyone else on social. And it's not just also family, like so that move, definitely I think is going to be great for you. And Dana White, if you ever see this, bring him back into the UFC. We want him.
Please. Yeah,
We,
that's the biggest thing, like before I was doing my camps here, before we moved the whole family here, it was rough, like being gone 6 to 8 weeks and not seeing the kids every day and your wife. And that was just, it was so like, it was good doing the camps, but there was just like a little piece that was missing. And the biggest thing I was noticing was like, I would come here for 6 to 8 weeks and I would catch up to all the guys. But once I would leave, I would kind of plateau and they would all still be growing at a higher rate than me. So I would always be playing catch up when I would come back. So now that I'm here full time, that's not the case. Like I'm growing just as fast and with all the best in the world. Now when everyone else comes, they're trying to play catch up with all the guys that are here. And it's such a blessing just having my wife here and my family, and my wife supports me so much, and I would not be in the position I'm at if it wasn't for her. She's holds down the fort all the time. She's always, being so supportive, and just it's such a blessing. People don't understand like having a partner that cares about this dream just as much as I do, and she sacrificed more than I have for this, and I owe her the world. And that's what I'm trying to do is get to the top of this game and give her everything that she deserves from her sacrifices.
that's amazing. Definitely to have that support from the spouse, and just that's awesome. So, I'm totally off my camera. But yeah, man, I'm so looking forward to seeing what comes next. And I'm excited to see when you get back into the UFC. I'm not even gonna say if it's gonna be a when. You will be
Right.
back in the UFC, and me and fans, whatever. We are so excited to see that. Um,
Yeah,
but
that's the biggest thing, It's in my head. I keep saying that. I tell myself that all the time. It's not if, it's when I'm gonna be back.
yeah, absolutely. I saw just on a quick note, real quick. I mean, and you had people for like Grant Dawson. He in an interview specifically said, "Bring him back." So it's not just saying you're showing it. Like you got these big names who were telling Dana and Sean Shelby, like, bring him back. You know,
That's what's such amazing team here. Like all the guys that I train with daily, and like me and Grant have been training together before American Top Team. We were training together in Kansas City before he moved, and I moved afterwards. So me and Grant are like best friends. We're training partners, like closer than anyone in the gym. We're always together. We're always training together, and he's always got my back, and vice versa. And we've helped each other grow so much, and he's such a big advocate. And he's the times when like things get rough down here, and I'm like thinking like, man, this sucks. Like so and so's getting signed, and he's always like, dude, just stay the course. You're right there, man. And not just him, but all the guys like Gamrot and Dustin, like these guys are all saying the same thing. Like, dude, just don't lose the faith. You're right there, and it's such a good push to keep me in it.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for, sharing a little bit about that. I know we really just want to get into your life outside of MMA. As fighters, like my life is MMA, but you have a family, you have a wife, and we all know you love turkey hunting. I think there's
Right.
more posts on turkey hunting than there is MMA.
Yes.
So let's dive into it. Who is Dakota outside of MMA?
Yeah, and that's one thing I've been really talking to my wife a lot about here recently was like, you know, I I don't want my identity, to be an MMA fighter when I'm done fighting. Like I don't want it to, and it's going to be hard because this is what I've done for 13 years, lived it every day, and it's all I think about. So it's like, who am I after fighting? That's what I want to think about, now because I'm closer to the end of my career than I am the beginning. Um, so that's the hardest part, when you're so indulged in the sport and you try to figure out who you are or what you're going to do after. And some people stay in the game. And right now, I don't have any ambitions of coaching, but maybe when I'm done, I might. I like to think I have a good IQ and knowledge for the game. But who knows? It's taken so much time for my family that I feel like I don't owe this any more of my time versus what it's taken from my family. So that's where I struggle. But um, so I said, hunting is like the biggest thing I love outside besides my family. Obviously, turkey hunting takes me places, and I've met some of my best friends from other states in states hunting. So um, I there's just nothing like it to me. I think about it all the time. I watch. My wife's already fed up with the YouTube videos that are on 24/7 of watching turkey hunting. Um, but it's such a release for me. Gets my mind out of fighting, and I think fighters need that a lot. Especially in a fight camp, you're so like in the gym twice, two to three times a day. You're at home thinking about it, watching film. You're on your diet. Like there's no break from fighting, and some people can't separate themselves. So that's what turkey hunting does for me. It's strategic. It's exciting. There's so much like adrenaline spikes, ups and downs. There's slow points. It's just life and hunting. So I really really enjoy it.
So when you said you like to turkey hunt and think that you live in Florida, so I'm sure you hunt. Do you hunt in Florida on like the wildlife preserve piece? So
Yes.
fun question: have you ever run into any like crazy animals, alligators, snakes, or
Gators, cottonmouths, which are, for the people that don't know, they're a venomous snake. Um, ran into a handful of cottonmouths, wild hogs. Um, there's panthers and bears down here as well, but I didn't run into any of those. Um, but yeah, the snakes, the gators. I've seen gators everywhere I went.
you
They're
live
real.
see one walking down the street. So that the gator part was kind of a silly question. It's just, but more so, like I said, the snakes because I know cottonmouths are huge on there, and there's some fast little pups too.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to be watching. You don't want to get bit.
Well, that it does too. You're walking through this grass that's about knee to thigh high, and you're walking, and then you like see a cottonmouth, and it like startles you, and you freeze, and then it puts you on edge. Then every single step, you're like tiptoeing, you're looking, and it. Then once you hear a turkey gobble, that all goes out the window. You'll walking. I was walking through
I,
water that's knee high, and there's gators in the swamp you're walking through. Um, but it was totally different down here. There's there's four different subspecies of turkeys, and the one that's in South Florida is called an Osceola, and that's the only. It's the only state you can kill it is South Florida. It's the only place that those turkeys inhabit. So they're super like a bucket list if people that are in the turkey hunting world want to kill an Osceola, but they're super hard. They're the hardest subspecies to kill out of all the turkeys. And I did it on the hardest piece of public land in the U.S. Only 11 turkeys were killed on it last year. So I killed one this year, and that was like a feather in the, pun intended, it's a feather in the cap with it. So um, super, super exciting. My main goal is to get what's called a super slam, where you kill a turkey in all 49 states that they're at. Except Alaska's the only state without turkey. So
Okay.
that's the goal.
The goal, but it's you don't. It's hard with they're just so on the MMA that they don't put anything outside. It's train family, fight, rest, train. So you know, so it's good to have that goal. It sounds like really fun to like be able to shoot a turkey in every state.
Right. No, a lot of people don't, and my wife says that too. I got too many hobbies. Like my balance is off sometimes. Um, but like you said, it's so important, and for me especially, like I'll whatever I'm doing, I go if I like it or enjoy it, it's 110%. It's anything else out the window. I don't care. I'm focused on this. So I will when I get a fight, I'll obsess. Like I used to be so much worse. Like it was in the gym, come home watching film on stuff, eating, back to the gym, another film, drilling. Like there's just so much obsession there, and I don't think it's healthy. Honestly, I don't think that your mind should be that focused because then you kind of when things start going wrong, you maybe you start doubting yourself, or maybe you lose focus because you were so dialed in on a game plan, or um, you think you have everything figured out, but it's a fight. It all can change in a heartbeat. Like you could prepare 8 weeks for him to do a certain tendency, and he's fixed that. So now I try to just be the best version of myself going into a fight. I really don't watch as much film anymore. Kind of get a gist of somebody, um, and then I train with the best guys in the world. So I'm not worried about whoever I'm going to fight. I'm just worried about, like I said, having my best performance, and it's been paying dividends here recently.
Yeah, definitely. Um, that's what it's all about. You learn from what you did in the past, and you make those changes now, so you can become better.
Yeah, it's the fighting game is the best sport to learn from that. There's all these other sports, and I love football. I love watching. Used to baseball, but not as much no more. But in team sports, you lose a game, you can point a finger at somebody if you want. I mean, mistakes are made, and games aren't usually one off one play, but you can point a finger if you need to. And in the fight game, you can't. It's always your fault if you lose. And sometimes someone's just better than you, and that's what it is. But um, it teaches you so many lessons. You can grow exponentially when you are willing to just eat the crow, and just, this is what I need to fix, and you diligently work on it. There's nothing better, and that's why people can grow so quickly in the sport if they're willing to to work on their things that they need to.
And that's the hard part, I think, with some people. Putting in the work for themselves to gain, but you're at that gym where you're gonna do it. Like you
Right.
said, you the best fighters in that gym.
A
Uh,
hundred percent.
I want to jump back real quick. Just a couple more questions. I love talking about MMA. That's literally what my whole podcast is about. But
Gotcha.
I'm gonna jump back to a couple more questions about your life. You said you like football. Who's your team?
The Packers. You're a
Yeah.
Titans fan, huh?
No, I'm an Eagles fan actually.
Oh yeah. Well, good luck for the next season.
I know. I'm
Back to back.
yeah, I know. Hey, fingers crossed. We can just
They're good. They're stacked. Like if Saquon Barkley's on point like that,
oh yeah.
before when they played the Packers, I texted a couple buddies and I was like, if they show up like this, there's not a team beat. I don't care who it is. No one will beat them. If they're on, that team is too dang good.
Oh yeah. No, I think the last couple of years we've definitely gotten better for sure.
Right.
But yeah, was gonna say. I'm nothing against Packers. I'm just kidding. Anyone who's not an Eagles fan, I make that face too. I'm
Right.
just the only team I have an issue with is obviously the
Right.
Packers. Where okay, where is the coolest place that you haven't has taken?
That I've what?
What's the coolest place you've been to go turkey hunting?
Okay. Oh, it's tough. I've been to. I would say I've had. It's hard to categorize. I mean, Florida's just a. It was like literally like Africa. It's tall grass, like trees. There's so many predators. Like it was such a different experience than any other state that I've hunted. Like I've hunted Missouri, Tennessee, Kentucky, Mississippi, Louisiana, South Carolina, Georgia. Those are all they have a lot of similarities in them. There's differences, but Florida was nothing similar to any of those states. So I would have to say it's Florida.
Florida. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, it's just so weird to think about Florida having something like that. I know it's there, trees, but like with the Pensacola, so when you talk about like that Africa like feeling, I'm just like, really? Like,
Yeah, you get out in the Everglades. Like I was down in the like on the outskirts of the Everglades, so it's untouched. Like there's so many miles of just as far as you can see, like just the sawgrass and cypress trees and water.
that, and that just sounds so. I mean, nothing, just wildlife. Just I don't know. It just to me sounds extremely cool. So I can enjoy turkey hunting. Yeah, you got to be on edge. You got to watch, but at the same time, it's not your typical like the craziness of kids. I have a daughter; she's 4, and when I find that spot of mine that's just like peaceful, nothing else compares to it. But I always love coming home to her. Of course.
Right.
Let's see. I think of other some fun questions before we get off here. Well, how old are your kids? And are they in anything? Do they do any? What do they like to do for fun? Or
Yeah, so my son Braxton, he's 9, and my daughter Finley, she's 5. Um, Braxton plays baseball and wrestles, but he loves baseball way more than wrestling. And the wrestling for all the people out there, I do not make my kid wrestle. Like I'm like, if you want to wrestle, whatever you want to do, I support you. Only thing I ask is whatever you do, you give me 100% effort. I don't care if you're the best. I don't care. You just show up with a good attitude and you give me 100% effort, and that's all you can control. And they really do well with that. He tries, his effort's amazing, and whatever he does, and it makes me so proud. Like, I tell him, like, he's competitive as well. And I'm like, that's good. I love it. You got to be competitive, but it's the things he can't control and, like, the things that matter, to me is you may not be the most skilled, you may not be the fastest or whatever, but if you show up and work hard every day, you can beat those kids that are maybe. And he's starting to see like all the practice we did in the winter months of going up to the fields, and that's one thing that's awesome here. Like the winter here is 65, 70 degrees, so
So
not like
jealous.
Missouri. So we can really put in a lot of time in the off seasons working with him. So he loves that. My daughter, she wants to do wrestling as well, but now she's gonna be doing judo with Kayla Harrison. So her and Kayla are like two peas in a pod now. They're always, if they're at the gym or go over to Kayla's house on Sunday after church, and the kids love her. Her two kids as well, so they're all playing. She's got like a little farm down here, so it's nice. It's like my kind of speed. So her and the wife will be, because I'm going back to Missouri Thursday, and a little bit of scouting out for some turkey hunt maybe. But the kids will be spending Easter with Kayla and her family, so it's nice when you don't have any family down here, and the gym, your teammates kind of become your family. You know, the people that are in the same areas of life, and so it's good for my wife too. So
That's
it's
all.
awesome.
That's all. And I love Kayla Harrison. I unfortunately have not had the pleasure of meeting her yet. It's on my bucket list. She's one of my favorite fighters. I have so much respect for her as a fighter, and we still can't wait for that fight. Um,
Yeah, she's such a hard worker. Like she is very diligent. Like I've never seen, and I hate to say it like this, but I've never seen a woman like fighter work even a fraction of how hard she does.
mm,
Um, it's pretty cool to see, and she's always in the gym. Um, the thing I respect the most is, like she's got two kids as a single mom. She's working. She's in the gym 2 to 3 times a day. She's taking care of the farm, homeschooling the kids, doing that. Strong in her faith as a Christian, and it's good because my wife, her and my wife are the same. Like it's not as fighters, obviously, but um, I just see so much of them like in each other, and it's cool that my wife has somebody to relate to, and um, it's good for my wife, and I love it. It's someone that's like minded, high level athlete, and um, nothing but good comes from that. You are the company you keep.
oh, absolutely, man. That's awesome, right there. That's amazing. Um, that's definitely, yeah, to have that, and to have that. Bleh, my goodness, for you all to have that family setting down there, like to have,
Hmm.
relate to that. Where I live, I don't have any, except for my
Right,
husband and his mom. To have a school that we do have, something short notice or whatever, um,
right.
like-minded people to have. Um, I think all the questions I have. Oh, one more, back to MMA related. Do you have anything preference thing?
Nothing. I had a couple like hearsays for fights and just fell through. Had an LFA fight possibly for the 11th, so I guess that was last Friday. They offered me that like 4 weeks ago, somewhere in that range, and I said yes. The opponent ended up getting pneumonia apparently, so that fight never even, there was no contract sent out or nothing. Yeah, just super hard to find fights right now in the position I'm in. So we're hopefully getting signed here in the next couple months. If not, we were talking into summer, probably July, August, sometime in there, get a fight lined up for that, if nothing. So right now, I'm just staying in the gym, staying short notice ready. That way, something pops up that I have to jump on short notice, I'm actually ready and in shape that I can push a hard pace for 3 rounds.
Well, whenever you do get one, keep me updated. I'd love to get you on again for a
Yes.
how camps go and whatnot. And when you get that UFC contract, I especially want to get you on. So again, Dana White, get this man that contract.
Please.
Dakota, where can viewers find you on social media?
Instagram, it's Dakota_Bush_155. Facebook, it's just Dakota Bush. Um, I have Twitter or X, I guess, but I never check it. I never use it. I haven't in years. So, um, but that's Dakota Bush as well. But if you message me or follow me, you probably won't get nothing back on there.
And as always, y'all, I can be found at OddSmokerMMA on Facebook and Instagram. Any fighters who are watching this, reach out if you want to jump in with us, if you need support. Uh, I did rep my Chris Duncan shirt tonight
I've
that
seen that. I love that shirt.
we got these printed and made for his last fight. I say it's been such an honor to work with him. We are a sponsor of his, so we had to get something made up. So
Right. No, Chris is the man.
yeah, he's a cool man. I definitely love working with him and talking to him and stuff. So Dakota, I want to thank you. This has definitely been a different um, interview that I've done on here, but I loved it, man. I was definitely able to get to know you on a different level than just the typical. When did you start MMA? What
Right.
got So thank you so much for taking the time. Definitely be back in contact with you.
Hmm.
Doing the 26 for you.
Yeah,
So,
thank you so much. Like you said, these are so much more fun and easygoing than the traditional, typical. Why'd you start fighting? And so, yeah, thank you for that.
of course, absolutely. You have a great night. Enjoy turkey hunting next weekend. I won't be able to see you at the fight, but I'll meet you
Right.
someday.
Well, I'll send some pictures of the birds.
Definitely.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. You have a great one.
You too.